Space, as I quickly found out, is a pretty easy game to dismiss. It's rife with glaring faults and minor annoyances that almost caused me to shelve it after just a few levels. But stick with it and you'll find that the game here is fun, what little there is, leaving anyone who dropped the $20 pining desperately for a few patches and some much needed DLC. Presentation-wise, there's simply nothing here. No cutscenes, no leaderboards, no crew members to interact with. There's not even a title screen. Just this guy, standing next to the mission select screen, making the entire game feel like some sad, beautiful mind illusion. I get that this was made by a small development team, but when they stripped out everything but the bare essentials, they also removed what makes any game feel unique. The heart, the rewards for completing levels, a meaningful story. Until all that's left to do is simply fly around and shoot enemies. Luckily though, it's the flying around and shooting enemies part that sells this game. The combat is basic but reminds me of early Wing Commander games, and it might be the nostalgia that finally hooked me. There are a couple of weapon upgrades to unlock, but nothing game-changing, and there's a grand total of 12 missions to play, meaning you can probably blast through the entire campaign in about 2 hours. And while a few missions dare to try something different, it's all too easy and over before you know it. Please guys, if you're listening, we need some DLC. For a small development team, I wasn't expecting much in the graphics department, but I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised. Every one of the 12 levels looks dramatically different from the last, and while the background does stutter during turns, and none of the explosions have the impact they should, the firefights can get intense, so you'll probably be too distracted to care. My biggest disappointment though, is that there's just no sense of speed. Hitting the boost button at full throttle feels exactly the same as sitting still. There's no space debris, no speed lines, nothing to give the illusion of acceleration. And although the voiceover, music, and sound effects are all well done for this style of game, there's this annoying alarm that goes off constantly, alerting you that there's something nearby. It's useful maybe 1% of the time, and there's no option to turn it off. And finally, to round out the complaint list, don't bother ever holding options to recenter your camera. That function is just broken, and the next thing you'll know, you'll be sitting sideways in your chair, just to face forward. For $20, N-Space simply doesn't offer enough in the way of missions, variety, or the pomp and circumstance of space battle. With a few patches to iron out the technical problems in a major DLC mission pack, I could see this being worth a look. But as it is, it's just too underwhelming to recommend.
Mission accomplished, pilot. Miners and cargo eliminated.